Hello and welcome to this explainer. We're looking at a completely unprecedented industry clash today, one that goes straight to the heart of our technological future. Usually, these tech giants fight tooth and nail over talent and compute, but suddenly, they've united. Well, except for one major player. Anthropic, the company behind the highly capable Claude models, absolutely refused to join them. So today, we're breaking down Anthropic's safety versus profit dilemma and what this really means for the entire AI landscape.
Okay, let's dive into this. Recently, a massive public letter called Open Weights and American Artificial Intelligence Leadership started circulating. It was essentially a rallying cry to defend open, accessible AI. But as Q Li, a Chinese open model founder, pointed out, Anthropic's silence was deafening. You see, the list of signatories grew to include dozens of the most powerful technology companies on the planet. So for Anthropic to refuse to sign, that wasn't just them expressing a bit of caution. It immediately turned them into the industry's biggest target, completely isolating them from their fiercest competitors who had all actually managed to agree on this one specific issue.
Which brings us to the core mystery we're unraveling in this explainer. Why did Anthropic stand entirely alone? Right now, they're facing some intense accusations. Critics are claiming the company is just using the excuse of AI safety to protect its highly profitable, closed business model. But Anthropic vehemently denies this. They argue their stance is motivated by genuine, existential fears about the irreversible dangers of uncontrolled intelligence. It's a classic clash, really. Economic incentives versus catastrophic risk. And we're going to impartially examine the evidence for both sides.
Here's a quick look at our agenda. We'll start with the industry against Anthropic, then look at open versus closed AI. After that, we'll cover the profit accusation, safety and nightmares, targeted regulation, and finally, renting versus owning intelligence. Let's start with Section 1, the industry against Anthropic. Just take a look at this list of signatories. We're talking NVIDIA, Microsoft, Meta, Google, OpenAI, Amazon, SpaceX, Mistral, and Hugging Face. What's truly ironic here is that companies like Google and OpenAI actually make their money from closed models, exactly like Anthropic does. Yet they suddenly decided that publicly defending open-weight AI was a huge strategic priority. Their letter argued that open models expand access, reduce costs, and really strengthen competition. So, because Anthropic refused to sign, their silence immediately looks like they were opposing all of those things: access, competition, and customer control.
And man, the backlash to that silence was brutal. Prominent venture capitalist David Sachs didn't mince words. He stated that Anthropic won't stop until it has kneecapped open source and warned that the industry needs to watch the company like a hawk. Other major figures, like Bill Gurley from Benchmark, immediately suggested that open weights threatened Anthropic's core economic strategy. The suspicion was instant. To them, this wasn't about safety at all. This was a calculated move to protect a corporate monopoly. Moving right along to Section 2, open versus closed artificial intelligence.
And this brilliantly illustrates the fundamental mechanics of the debate. It basically boils down to who holds the power. With closed models like Anthropic's Claude, you're effectively renting intelligence. The creator sets the price, applies the restrictions, and they hold the ultimate kill switch. Conversely, open weights allow the actual learned numerical parameters of these models to be downloaded and adapted locally. That means a hospital can run the AI entirely independently to protect sensitive patient data, or a startup can build a whole business without being permanently tethered to a corporate gatekeeper. Open weights shift control away from the original creator and distribute it directly to us, the users.
Which brings us to Section 3, the profit and monopoly accusation.
The reality is, open models are becoming incredibly capable, and that directly threatens Anthropic's billion-dollar bottom line. Take the Chinese open-weight model Key 3, created by Moonshot Artificial Intelligence. It absolutely shocked Silicon Valley by approaching the performance of leading American systems, all while remaining a free, open download. But here's where it gets highly controversial. U.S. officials accused Moonshot of using a process called distillation. Distillation is when a cheaper model learns by copying the outputs of a much more expensive, smarter model. In this case, they were allegedly extracting capabilities from Anthropic's Claude Fable 5 without permission. So the crucial point is this: Anthropic sells access to private models. They spend billions of dollars developing these frontier systems, only for competitors to supposedly extract their knowledge and release cheaper, open alternatives. From the critic's perspective, Anthropic is taking a standard corporate copying dispute and weaponizing it to restrict OpenAI for everyone. If regulation makes open, cheaper alternatives much harder to release, Anthropic directly benefits financially. This inherent financial incentive makes their safety arguments look highly suspicious to the open source community.
Let's pivot now to Section 4, the safety and nightmare scenarios. Now, Anthropic CEO Dario Modei completely rejects the idea that they want a blanket ban on all open models. In fact, he explicitly calls harmless open models a public good, but he refused to sign the industry letter because he believes it completely ignores the catastrophic realities of highly capable, downloadable models. Anthropic highlights two specific nightmares. First, an authoritarian government weaponizing an open model to achieve military superiority or permanent mass surveillance. And second, a highly advanced open model facilitating bad actors in orchestrating major cyber attacks or even engineering biological weapons. They stress that creating a biological threat using AI could be drastically faster than developing the defense against it. Anthropic isn't trying to ban harmless open models. They are trying to mitigate global catastrophe. And that danger hinges entirely on one concept: irreversibility. This is without a doubt Anthropic's strongest argument. Think about it. If a close model like Claude goes rogue or starts giving instructions on how to build weapons, Anthropic can monitor it, update it, or simply pull the plug. But once a dangerously capable open model is released, it's copied onto thousands of computers worldwide instantly. The original developer literally cannot take it back. Malicious actors can permanently strip away the safeguards, releasing it as an action that society can never, ever undo.
That leads us into Section 5, Anthropic's Targeted Regulation Plan. Because of this irreversibility, Anthropic is actually proposing 3 targeted measures to governments, instead of outright bans. First, address the hardware. Keep powerful computing chips and chip-making equipment completely away from authoritarian governments to slow down rival labs. Second, address the software vulnerabilities by cracking down heavily on industrial-scale distillation. This ensures companies can't cheaply bypass those chip restrictions. And third, institute mandatory safety testing for every sufficiently capable model, whether it's open or closed, before it's legally allowed to be released.
But, as you might expect, the open AI movement views this targeted regulation as a Trojan horse. They point out that it acts as a de facto ban. Mandatory testing requires massive legal and financial resources. If the legal standards are incredibly expensive and complex, smaller open laboratories, universities, and startups will simply have to stop releasing models entirely. Meanwhile, massive, wealthy, closed giants like Anthropic, they'll easily survive the regulatory hurdles, effectively building a giant regulatory gate around intelligence that no one else can afford to cross.
Now, what's really interesting about this side is the perceived hypocrisy. Anthropic's own recent actions have really fueled these suspicions. Just weeks before this debate, the U.S. government imposed restrictions affecting Anthropic's own closed models, Claude Fable 5 and Claude Mythos 5. Anthropic fought back hard, arguing that restricting their models hurt legitimate users and damaged defenders in the cybersecurity space. Yet, when the open source community used those exact same arguments to defend open models from restrictions, Anthropic refused to support them. Critics see this as glaring hypocrisy. They argue Anthropic demands access for its own profit-generating models, but won't lift a single finger to protect its open competitors.
Which brings us to our final section, renting versus owning human intelligence.
This all builds into the ultimate philosophical divide. Both sides are promising us safety, but their core fears are completely opposed. The open movement's greatest fear is concentrated corporate power. They believe a handful of unaccountable tech giants shouldn't be dictating who receives intelligence, what questions we're allowed to ask, and what price society has to pay. On the flip side, Anthropic's greatest fear is irreversibility. They firmly believe that uncontrolled open intelligence will inevitably lead to catastrophic global threats that humanity only gets one single chance to prevent.
So that leaves us with this final, vital question for you to consider. Will humanity ultimately own artificial intelligence? Or will we merely rent it from the corporations powerful enough to control it? Look, the entire industry might not agree that Anthropic has evil intentions, but they do agree that Anthropic's vision of a highly controlled, tightly regulated future must be challenged. Because how we resolve this dilemma between safety and profit, between open and closed, it's going to dictate the structure of human intelligence for generations to come. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll see you next time.